Welcome to Killer Phrases, why they're used, and how to respond to them. I'm Steve Wilkinson, an MBA and certified lean practitioner. What I'm going to share with you can eliminate barriers to your improvement efforts, but only if you apply what you learn. Take notes and email me with any questions. I'd be glad to chat. Let's dig in, and I'll share my screen. You may want to take some screenshots. Okay, we're going to talk about killer phrases, why they're used, and how to respond. Killer phrases you need to know are an example of resistance to change, something that all managing engineers deal with. Here's the situation. Your team is trying to make a recommendation to solve problems in your morning huddle or project meeting. Does someone in the group always seem to have an objection to kill the new idea? Be on the alert for these phrases and ban them. We'll go into them in just a minute. How should you as a leader respond to each of these common killer phrases? And why is that important? Because they're slowing down productivity and efficiency improvements. Let's dig in. Discuss these phrases at your team meetings, and which one is your favorite? Please share your experiences in the video comments at the end. So here are some examples of killer phrases. You may have some of these in your workplace. As an example, it's a good idea, but it's against company policy. All right in the theory, but can't do it in a GMP area. It costs too much. Don't start anything yet. We're on a delay, right? It needs more study. It's not budgeted. It's not good enough. It's not part of your job. We have people who do that. Let's make a survey first. Let's sit on it for a while. That's not our problem. That's their problem. The boss won't go for it. It might introduce some risk. It's too hard to administer, despite how much it will save. If we've done it that way in the past and it didn't work, or if it was such a good idea, we would have done it before. Let's form a committee. We've never done it that way. Who else has tried it? We don't have the resources. That will require an SOP. That's not validated. I don't have permission. I assume someone else would take care of it. I'm sure you've heard lots of those, but how do you respond to them so that they stop slowing down your improvements? One of the responses that I like is when someone throws out one of those phrases, I just say, look, Joe, we already know that making an improvement can be challenging. Instead, tell me what we have to do to make this improvement. Get it on the positive side, the constructive side. Pull them in to the solution instead of putting on the brakes. So here's some advice. Keep the suggestions that are being made simple, not a lot of detail. Resistors will be looking for flaws in any details that you provide. And tell the team, I want each of you to make an independent judgment based on the facts alone. Treat the audience and resistors with respect. Act like a statesman. Understand what the motives of the resistor may be, and we'll talk more about that. Anticipate the possible motives of the resistor and against the suggestion's new idea, especially on a major proposal. It may be hard to do, though, on just a spur of the moment conversation or meeting. So this is important here. You may want to take a screenshot. 10 reasons people use killer phrases. The resistor may have originated the current method themselves. The resistor may feel that adopting the new idea may challenge the resistor's ego, their credibility or reputation. Or the resistor is hopelessly risk adverse. They never want to try anything. The resistor is confident that they can get along and get their raises, keep their job security with the current method that they've learned. They may be afraid that they can't maintain that status quo if they have to change what they're doing. Can they really learn the new method? What if they can't? So here's one. The resistor may see the suggester as a competitor. Watch for that. Sometimes people just blurt out something, hoping that people in the audience will think that they're contributing, and they may not be. The person suggesting an idea often knows more about the subject than the resistor in the audience, and perhaps even more than the leader. The new idea may be surrounded by a sea of activities and priorities that the new idea is competing with for attention and resources. Some people are so self-absorbed that they don't like anything that someone else suggests. They just want to live in their own world. They may be holding up the team's progress in other ways too. So that's a good reason not to use killer phrases, because you may be perceived as someone that's really not contributing much in many ways. Some people are perennial skeptics. They think it's their role to poke holes in anything. It makes them feel like they're engaging or adding value. And they seldom propose a useful suggestion or solution themselves, right? Some people suffer from not invented here, so they're not interested in any real solutions. Here's some categories of strategies that resistors may use consciously or subconsciously. Introduce confusion. You can't follow their logic, and they're trying to introduce doubt, like a prosecutor or a defending attorney in a trial. Introduce doubt. Fear-mongering, arousing anxiety. What if something goes wrong? Yeah. Death by delay. Delay any decision-making. It's kind of like politicians propose something, they vote on it, they agree on it, but it goes to the executive, like the president, to sign, and he doesn't agree, so he just puts it in the drawer, and it's called a pocket veto, right? Delay it, right? Ridicule or character assassination of the suggester is one risk. That suggester may be a competitor of the resistor. Just watch for that. Okay, so how do you respond to all this? How would you respond either as a suggester or someone else in the meeting when a killer phrase is thrown out? How would you respond specifically to each killer phrase in the chart that I just showed? You can practice or role play in the group. That will help change people's behavior if they start becoming self-conscious about the use of those phrases and the fact that they're really delaying progress. Call out the resistor politely, indicating they just used a banned phrase. Ask them to be more specific. Comment on what it is their real objection is, and do they have any facts to support it? John Carter wrote a great book called Buy-In that really talks about this in depth. The response mode that I show below may seem like negotiating here, but here's some thoughts. In a discussion, let's think of possibilities, how this might work. What if? Could we overcome that obstacle by doing ABC? If you gave me your support on trying this, what would you want in return? I really like your idea, pointing out some potential flaw that they had in the idea. I think we should address that. That's engaging them, right? It's not fighting them. How can we overcome it? Give them credit for pointing out what we need to overcome. So let's get back to the bigger picture. How or why can we get the problem solved? And I'm certainly prepared, you can say, to continue to discuss this in good faith, providing that we agree to focus on solving the problem. So here's your call to action. How will your team implement this learning to improve results? How will you monitor success? Do you need any help? If you do, email me, talk to me. I'd be glad to help. If you're watching on this video, it's very important to please click the subscribe button, like, and share with at least a couple of your colleagues. That's the only way I can share these improvement ideas with as many people as possible. We're really trying to help improve our operations here in our various industries. I offer on-site training or Zoom coaching on killer phrases and resistance to change. And you may even be interested in my presentation on how I saved 50,000 labor hours at one site using an observe, analyze, improve approach to assessing line or production operation or hospital floor operations, or even in a restaurant. You can contact me at rapidleancoach@gmail.com to learn more about improving your process. And you can ask any questions. I'd love for you to ask questions, point out some of the barriers or that you're incurring, and we can talk about potential solutions. I also have this website it's really loaded with a lot of information and case studies. So finally, please subscribe, like, and share with your colleagues. We need to get this out to as many people as possible. And remember, this is just one video. There's a whole series that I'd like to give you access to by subscribing to the YouTube channel. So great luck to you, and we'll see you on the other side.